Guys, we're going to start off with something a little different because there was a new BlizzCon announcement about Warcraft. And, like, I know that's not normally what this channel's for, but also I don't really care because I want to talk about it. Yeah, so they released a new mode for WoW for Classic. You guys know I've been playing Classic a lot. I try to get into live WoW. It's just not feeling it. It's not for me. I'm too older. I'm a boomer. Skill-wise, I can play it. I just don't feel like playing it. I really just don't feel like getting carpal tunnel because I want to be like a mythic level raider. I used to be. I just don't have it in me. I just don't want to. It's not fun to me to constantly smash buttons. It's just annoying. So I like Classic. It's chill. It's something I don't have to put too much mental energy into. I like it. But also what doesn't, work for me is that it takes a long time to hit max level. A lot of the stuff isn't viable. But they announced a new release of like a thing called Classic Plus. I think it's Season of Discovery. And I'm just going to check out a couple of Asmongold clips. And I want to look at it because I think I might play it. My understanding is they are capping the levels to 25 instead of 60. They're going to convert some of the older dungeons into like raids, like 10-man raids. This is a very brief of what I understand, what a buddy told me. And then they're going to slowly increase the level cap. And I'm like, that's cool. More specs and classes are going to be viable. I think that's a great way to go. I want to play the way Classic plays and feels, where it feels like you're earning stuff. And it feels like, it's not super complicated, but there's a bigger macro game, right? Because the live game focuses on micro game. It's very, very micro intensive, but macro game doesn't matter as much. Classic is the reverse. I'm not looking for something super difficult necessarily. I'm just looking for something fun. Like, not everything has to be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And this seems to be maybe what that is. I can appreciate that Blizzard's taking risks. They're doing stuff that's new. I think it's cool. I think that people should give them a little bit of credit for that. So let's see what this is.
Over the past 4 years of Classic, we've watched you master the vanilla experience.
Okay.
We've loved it. So much, in fact, that we thought we'd add some unique flavor with a seasonal note and a dash of discovery. Season of Discovery is vanilla WoW.
I instantly had an orgasm.
With a spicy twist.
What is this?
You're going to discover new secrets as you scour the world.
What is this?
And find class-altering abilities.
What?
What does that mean? Class-altering abilities?
Have you ever wondered what it might be like to be a tanking warlock?
What? Oh, yeah, I heard about that. How interesting is that, a tank warlock? I think it would be, listen, where I would think would be so cool with Classic WoW especially, I've always talked about, like, I would love the idea of a Classic WoW where you level like in a linear capacity, and once you hit max level, you can branch off and do the end game of any expansion without it like interacting with each other in a negative way. Like if I hit max level, oh, let me go do Classic WoW content. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go raid and Burning Crusade level content next. But the gear from Classic won't help my BC experience, which is a good thing because then I can like branch off. I can play all the end game, make it so that like all the classes and specs are viable, and then make a little more diversity. Like give me a new instead of releasing and constantly re-updating the game. Every time a new expansion comes out, they completely rehaul parts of the game. Just make a new fucking spec. Make a new class. Make this stuff play the same. Release a new playable race. I'm a racist. I want to play all the races. Let me play an ogre or something, you know what I mean? But this seems interesting.
Fuck?
Or take on the role of a mage healer?
Okay, Chronomancer?
I mean, that's interesting, but isn't a priest already mage healer? I don't know. That'd be cool.
No way.
I want to be a warrior healer. I want to shout at people until they do better. That's how I already operate.
Hey.
Discovery, you can.
Wait, what?
Oh, somebody in the chat said Ascension WoW. That's like a private server WoW. I think they're trying to compete with the private servers. It's very interesting because I have the Ascension WoW downloaded. I don't really play. I don't care. But maybe they're trying to compete with some of their own private servers, which is interesting because they could just shut them down, but they don't, which I think is a smart move overall. Because at least for me, what happens is I get sick of WoW, and then I go and play a Classic or some kind of a bullshit WoW, like a private server, and then it just makes me want to play regular WoW again anyway. Hey, happy birthday, bro.
This season is going to launch with an initial level cap of 25. And when you hit that max level, you'll be met with a brand new level 25 endgame. You'll discover a brand new 10-player Black Fathom Deeps raid with new
interesting. I don't know why they have. I don't know if you guys know what Black Fathom Depths is, but they have such a hard on for that dungeon. They rehauled that. I forget which expansion a while ago. But they rehauled that, and now they're making it a 10-minute. They're rehauled again. I don't know why they love that dungeon so much.
reimagined bosses.
Try4Seb1T just.
Hey, thanks for the sub, brother.
Mechanics and of course, rewards.
Cool.
Then, after
Wait, but this is a
Priscilla
classic one.
Pixels became a member.
Hey, thank you. But this is a classic one, so they revamped it for live. So now they're going to revamp the classic one. That's kind of cool, actually, because I like classic BFD better than I like live BFD. Live BFD is annoying as shit. There's like tentacles all over the place, and they just pick you up and stop the whole fucking dungeon from progressing.
a couple of months, we'll raise the level cap a bit. You'll find even more endgame content, and so it will go. If you're here at BlizzCon, you can play the Black Fathom Deeps raid in the Warcraft Hall.
Okay. Oh, cool. Yeah, if you wait on like a 10-hour line.
So, if you love Classic or just a little intrigued about what exactly a Warlock tank can do, go
Dude, this guy's like literally, he's a fucking industry plant. He's jerking. He's like literally Pee Wee Herman at that at that movie theater. He's like, oh!
check it out.
That's kind of crazy. Imagine your whole life this is the most exciting thing to you. Loser. Also, I understand.
For all of you watching online, don't worry.
You could do that in
Won't
Dragon
have
Soul
to
too.
wait long to play. Because
They
we
nerfed it.
want you to discover all of the secrets together, there will be no public testing. WoW Classic Season of Discovery
Bugs.
launches in a few short weeks on November 30th.
Holy
Wow, Jesus Christ.
shit! Wow.
That's I don't that might be too soon. Baby! I gotta find out if we might have to cancel Disney. Baby! When's Disney?
9 days.
When do we get back? Guys, we're good. We don't have to cancel Disney. I'm kidding. Get out. I'm just kidding. Okay, we get back the 21st. Cool. Listen, I think this is awesome. I love that they're doing experiments. Here's how I really think that they should do like the classic WoW experience. I'm going to be playing that, by the way, and I'm going to try to get in contact with a streamer called Deesh, who needs to build his fucking YouTube channel up more. And I'm probably going to harass him about that because he's like a younger streamer that I enjoy him. He's a cool guy, and he could totally have a better YouTube presence. But that's besides the fucking point. DEEDGE guys, you should look him up. He's a nice guy. But what I think they should do is they should make a WoW. Here's what I think that they should like generally do: make a WoW, make the level cap 50, right? So you level to 50, make it a little faster and easier without losing the flair. One of the biggest things that I love about classic WoW is that it feels like you earn it. It's not the speed is part of it, but when you play WoW, you kind of get into the mode and you slow yourself down. It's like deep breaths. Where you play live WoW, it's like you get everything so quick, but your body adjusts to the pace, and it makes you feel like you need everything now, and then you burn out. With WoW Classic, it's a chill experience. So I think level 50 cap is great. I think it should take maybe, I don't know, 40 hours to get there, 50 hours. That's not that much, honestly, overall for like a classic WoW experience. 50 hours is not bad when it takes like 150 hours to hit max if you're not min-maxing, but a casual 100 hours plus to hit 60. I think 50 is perfect. You hit level 50, and this is what I think you should do. They should split it off into expansions, right? So you got your classic era expansion, so your vanilla people would call it. You got your vanilla, and then you can do your pre-bis, so like your pre-bis rating. Then your tier 1, then there's tier 2, then there's tier 3, right? Or you could do Burning Crusade, and maybe you get prestige levels. So you have to level to level 10 Burning Crusade-wise, you know? And then you get, again, pre-bis, and then tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 for Burning Crusade. And then you do Wrath of the Lich King. And then you do the same thing. You get pre-bis, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And they don't help each other. Because now you have the max level. These things are relatively easy to do anyway. Make smaller raid sizes. I'm not trying to play with 40 people. Honestly, flex rating, I really don't think is that bad. Let me play with a few different people. Make the classes more viable, but try to maintain their uniqueness. If you go in there with only 10 in a flex rate and you don't get every buff, like, okay, it is what it is. But maybe, you add more. I think that that's how they should do it. And instead of adding a new, like constantly revamping the classes and adding stuff that isn't really adding, it's just like redistributing it. It's annoying as shit. Just make a new class, make a new race. Let me level up again. Like, that's how I think that they should do it. People like playing Classic. Some people just like, let people just play and don't change a lot. And then just add a new expansion. and then add a new expansion and do the same thing. So if I only want to play classic rating, then that's what I'm going to do. That's how I would like to see it. I think it's an interesting idea at the very least. But this seems like a really cool addition with the Season of Mastery, because the Season of Mastery stuff plays into people too, because like once you cap out, they'll reset the server at some point. It's like, oh, just do it again. And there's something about just doing it again that is fun. I don't know why. But this seems fun. It seems like a casual twist to the classic. I'm excited. I'm going to watch this other one, Endgame Plus.
When we initially launch, the level cap in Season of Discovery will be level 25.
Okay.
After a number of weeks, the level cap will increase to a higher level for the next phase. We had to kind of sit down and ask ourselves, what is in-game when the level cap is 25? And first, I think it makes sense to talk a little bit about our inspiration. And this is something we really keep coming back to a lot on Classic. Since this is a version of original WoW, we wanted to start out grounded in familiar locations and put the focus for the new stuff on fresh gameplay and mechanics in those iconic dungeons and locales. To that end, our first raid in Season of Discovery will be the iconic dungeon, Black Fathom Deeps, reimagined as a 10-player raid instance.
I don't know why that they keep saying it's iconic. They must. I mean, lore-wise, it makes a lot of sense. It's Akumai is in there. I think it's the first. Well, it's not the first introduction of the old gods. I think the Burning Blade might be that. I'm a little off of my lore, but it's like the first big dungeon for like the old gods. I think that's where like they whisper to you, and you're supposed to drive you mad at a certain point. But I mean, it's a cool dungeon. But okay. How about having a hard stuck classic era server, one of each X pack? They're gonna stop being worried about splitting the player base. No, I think that's a bad idea. Having so there's what I get what you're saying, but having a hard stuck class, it just doesn't work. First of all, nobody gives a shit about BC. Second of all, classic kind of ends at Wrath of the Lich King. This is the thing. I think classic is probably the most nostalgic, best experience for the majority of people. And while things like Burning Crusade and Wrath introduce new things that are cool, like new classes, I think that it's better to maintain a little bit of the play style of classic, maybe with adding a little bit more, and then just expanding from there and making new expansions, making a classic era that, again, make expansions, but keep all the old stuff relevant. Why is it that Molten Core becomes irrelevant once Burning Crusade comes out? Leave it relevant for people to do. And if they're 10-man to 20-man raids instead of 40-man, it's not as hard to gather people together since they're really easy to clear as it is. This way you can kind of like, you know what? I want to do all 5 expansions worth of content. We're going to do this on Monday, this on Tuesday, for people who want to do that, right? People who want to do that. That's why I think that when you do hard stuck, people don't play all of it. It does fracture the player base. It becomes a lot to manage, which is what I'm saying. Like, make all of it one classic kind of a thing. Make a classic type thing. I think that's a great idea where everything kind of combines and merges together.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Next, one of our main goals is to ensure that these are fully featured, deep, satisfying raids, and not simply the addition of a few mechanics to existing encounters as they were in 2004.
Okay.
All of these encounters are a full ground-up read.
Yeah, do 10 minutes. My thing is I like flex rating more than 10 mans personally, because sometimes you have 11 friends, and that would make 12 people, right? Well, I'm friends with myself. I like that better. I think of a little bit of flex, like 10 to 15, 10 to 25. I enjoy the flex type rating. It's a little more casual. I don't think the issues with from going classic to retail is that they were quality of life changes. I think some of the issues were a little bit different. Like, I could see why people wouldn't want a Dungeon Finder, because that reduces your ability to have to explore the world. So yeah, don't have Dungeon Finder. Makes perfect sense. I could see why people don't like flying mounts, because it reduces your ability to traverse the world. So don't have flying mounts in your game, right? But quality of life's like, oh, let me be able to take 12 people instead of 10. I think that's great. Stuff like that is excellent. I like walk to the dungeons, make an LFG window so that you can look for groups, travel the world with people, make it more accessible. The thing I don't like about, you like 10 mans? I like 10 men's. Yeah, my ass. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of heroic and mythic level raids, which sounds weird, but only because a mythic. I feel like it makes the previous tiers irrelevant. You know what I mean? I like simply you make your character max level, you do pre-bis, then you go tier 1, 2, 3. That's how I kind of like the regular progression. That's how I feel like you should. When you introduce heroic, it kind of gets a little wonky with that. But I don't really care if people disagree; they can do whatever. Same thing with Mythic Plus. If you do Mythic Plus, I like the concept of Mythic Plus. It makes it so you don't have to do the lower content anymore. You know, Mythic Plus will scale the gear, so like now you don't need to do Tier 1 or Tier 2, and you go right to Tier 3, which makes sense because people in Tier 3 want players to play with. But at the same time, I like you have these older raids, make people go through the motions. That's how I feel.
Design and should feel like proper raid encounters. And of course,
Papa, what would you think about a weekly clips highlights video? Like Papa got out of context, but like a weekly thing. I mean, that could be interesting. Why? Yeah, I mean, maybe.
with new raids comes lots of new loot.
Okay.
In addition to raids,
He really paused for that cheer there.
we also really want to play up that PvP aspect. And as a result, we're planning to add several outdoor PvP events to the game as the level caps increase.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is interesting. Okay.
Lastly, one of the things we're most excited about is where we go when we start getting to higher levels.
Yeah,
We are
exactly.
leaving the door open.
Yeah, like that's one of the again, that's linear progression that kind of ruins. Like when it's like, okay, we're going to raise the level cap from 25 to 30. Okay, so all the 25 content's dead now. Like, you know what I mean?
Possibility of completely new experiences and the prospects of exploring.
Although if they continuously do this every 6 months to a year, which would be great, a 6 month cycle of just like going from level 25 to like level 50 or something or 60 and like quickly moving up and maxing your character out, that could be interesting. I feel like that most people life cycle 6 months is plenty of time.
Previously,
It doesn't sound like a lot, but like most people restart anyway in the classic. So like, yeah, just make a 6 month season of mastery. Yeah, it gets harder for new people to introduce into it, but you could still introduce, you can catch up, and then they could restart, do another, I don't know, something like that.
unfinished
We'll see where it goes.
or unused locales for future raid and dungeon content. Oh, sorry, getting a level
Interesting.
60. I know,
Okay.
I'm excited too. I'm
Holy
excited
shit.
too.
So this basically is Classic Plus then.
Dude!
Okay.
Dude!
They're just starting it
We
at
think that level
25.
25 is going to be full of great, memorable gameplay.
Holy
that feels
shit.
right at home in original WoW. But this is just the first step, and we think the best is yet to come.
Okay. Crowd's boots. This is fucking silly.
So next,
Bro, this right here, Heroes of the Storm update, they need to do more Heroes of the Storm stuff. WoW, they need to, Blizzard needs to get back to Heroes of the Storm. I still play Heroes of the Storm. I think it's the best MOBA that exists. You might say, no, I don't really think Heroes of the Storm is a very good MOBA. It really is. It's the best casual MOBA that exists. It's the best. You go in there, it's just easier. It's less involved. The classes are more unique. The games are quicker. 20-minute games tops for the most part. I mean, really, one of the things that tilts me out is you get in a league game that you're losing for a half an hour. I mean, 40 minutes. It's enraging.
let's kind of
Oh
change
my
gears
God.
and talk about rune engraving a little bit. One of the most consistent pieces of feedback we've gotten from previous iterations of original WoW, such as our Season of Mastery, is that many players would like to try some adjustments to their favorite class or spec. We really
Interesting.
wanted to take a chance with Season of Discovery and go kind of wild here, and we did.
Okay.
That's where rune engraving comes in. Rune engraving is a new skill that all Season of Discovery characters know automatically on character creation. Rune engraving allows you
Okay.
to gather, learn, and apply new class abilities directly to your equipment, kind of like enchants. Once learned, runes are permanent and can be applied and reapplied to your gear at will, just out of combat.
I like that they're using the old art.
One of the most exciting things about these runes is that they exist completely outside of the talent system, meaning that you could very realistically splash in, damage abilities with a healing talent spec, so you could solo
Yeah.
a little bit better, or you could swap maybe to tanking ability runes to
Okay.
round out the tank spot in your 5-player group if you're missing one. We've been playing this a ton
Okay.
internally. We've been having
That's interesting. I see how it plays out.
so much fun with it. It's everything we love about
You quit League when you had a kid, bro. I can't play League. When I start playing, I get so toxic. My wife tells me I have to stop. And what I mean is, like, it's not even just in real. It's not like I play League and I'm toxic and I'm done. It makes me physically angry, so that like I'm miserable around my wife. And my wife's like, "You need to stop playing because you're just always worked up." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I quit. Like she told last time I downloaded the Wild Rift version on my phone. And there's something so tilting about it. Like, I can lose a Heroes game and go, okay, whatever. But I can't lose a League game without having a fucking meltdown. There's like a weird investment into it that makes you so angry. And so I have to quit.
Classic, plus so much more.
I got him.
Well, that's it for today, guys. We're looking forward to. Okay. That's
Placeholder
that should be
slide.
Here. Okay. That should definitely. Okay, sorry, we should have. Okay.
I don't know what that
Okay,
was.
so-
Was that under Karazhan?
We're gonna get Nomergon, Scarlet Monastery, and Karazhan Crypts.
Oh, I was right. I was such a nerd that I knew that.
Awesome.
That's it for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to check that out. I find that interesting. I'm looking forward to potentially playing that.